Hi everyone, I'm Michael.
And I'm Patrick, and you're watching another episode of Star Wars News and Views. Today we'll be just giving you guys a couple updates of big news that happened in the comics.
Which is canon now.
Which is canon now.
So
this
that's
is
what makes it big. Otherwise, it's, whatever, it's a comic. But no, this is part of the official continuity.
Yeah. So the first thing in Star Wars issue number 6, we find out that Han Solo had a wife named Sana Solo. She came out of a spaceship and saw him with Princess Leia and started talking and said, "Oh, I should know, I'm his wife." So
dun dun dun.
Yeah, so that's kind of big news because up until this point in the original trilogy, no one really knew what was going on with Han Solo and any women. It just kind of seemed like he was a womanizer, had a lady at every spaceport sort of guy.
Yeah, and in fact, in the original cut of the Cantina scene in Star Wars, which is, if you've seen the Lost Cut or whatever they call it. There's a part where he's making out with some chick in the booth at the back while the Obi-Wan's cutting off the guy's arm.
So that's pretty big news. I think one of the reasons why they did it in the comics is to sort of alleviate some sexual tension that might happen between him and Leia, because they can't really have that moving forward without stepping over their toes of stuff that happened in episode 5 and 6.
Yeah,
so
well,
because
they
put
get
the brakes on it and everything.
Yeah, they get together in episode 5, so it's you have to have this entire comic of them kind of flirting but not really going anywhere.
Yeah.
So it's a good explanation if it's oh crap, he was actually married, and that's why he can't really do anything.
Yeah, and then that means also we don't really know what's going to happen with this wife character, if she is his wife, which I assume she said so.
Well, that's the thing. We don't know where they're going with this. Is she his wife?
Yeah.
Let's just say yes, but...
Yeah, and then also, when are we going to find out that she leaves him at some point, because he's obviously... Or did he cheat on her with Leia? I don't know. But...
Well, in Star Wars, he doesn't even like Princess Leia.
Yeah.
He kind of dislikes her, but he's kind of intrigued by her. So that's pretty cool. I don't know. I don't really know how to feel about that. We'll have to see where they take it, I think, before we can really pass judgment on it. Certainly it's surprising. I don't think anyone saw that coming.
Yeah. And if there's a Han Solo spin-off movie at some point, maybe they'll get into detail of her a bit more.
There you go. Yeah. They're certainly world building here with these unexpected twists.
Yeah.
So I'm sure we'll hear more about that in the future from other mediums, whether it's books or movies or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is that also in the 6th issue of Darth Vader, because, there's multiple Star Wars series going on right now, and Darth Vader series is kind of running parallel to the main Star Wars series, except it's from Darth Vader's perspective. And there's a scene in it where Boba Fett, he tracks down this guy, and he's trying to figure out who's the guy that blew up the Death Star, and he tortures and interrogates him, and he reports to Darth Vader, and he says, well, all I got was a name. And Darth Vader's okay, what's the name? And he says Skywalker. And Darth Vader starts having, flashbacks to Padme and the Emperor telling him that he killed her. Mm. And so this is now the moment when Darth Vader actually does realize that Luke Skywalker is his son.
Yeah.
And this is pretty important in the continuity of Star Wars, because that's always been this ambiguous thing where... Yeah. In Empire Strikes Back, it says Darth Vader, in the title crawl, says Darth Vader is obsessively searching for Skywalker. Mm-hmm. And when they find the Rebel base, he's I'm sure Skywalker is there. He's
at that point he knows, but we don't really find out at all between episode 4 how he knows that.
It's kind of a big plot point.
Yeah, yeah.
And I feel like when George Lucas made the special edition, the second special edition, in 2004, he added this scene where the Emperor tells him the one who destroyed the Death Star is Luke Skywalker. And Darth Vader's what? What are you talking about? How is that possible? And I think this is just my personal feeling, is that it feels like George Lucas was trying to resolve that discrepancy. Mm-hmm. But then it's not continuous, because Darth Vader already is referring to Skywalker at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, I was looking for about Hoth.
So some fans came up with the theory okay, so the only explanation is that he found out before Empire Strikes Back, but he's kind of duping the Emperor, and he's kind of playing possum, oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, which fits in really well with the comics, because we see he gets visually angry, and he uses the Force and cracks a window when he finds out that he'd been lied to. So it would make sense that he's looking for Luke Skywalker right now, and sort of behind the Emperor's back, and doesn't want him to know. Especially because when at the end of episode 5, when he talks to him, he's join me, we can take over the Empire and everything. Yeah. So it seems like he was doing it sort of as a malicious intent to get back at the Emperor for it.
Yeah, well, because he realizes the Emperor lied to him the whole time, so he's okay, screw you, I'm going to recruit my son, we're going to take you down. Yeah. So that's my feeling, is that the second special edition, this is just my personal feeling, is that the second special edition was That scene in Empire Strikes Back was intended to clarify that, but like many things that George Lucas did in the 2004 special edition, like Hayden Christensen in Return of the Jedi and many other things, R2-D2 hiding in rocks. No, that was the third special edition. I'm sorry. They really needed those rocks put in there. They couldn't do it in 1977. The technology wasn't there. Yeah, so I think this is now them kind of clarifying that, making it into a dramatic plot point, and this is going to actually inform the story, develop the characters, develop that whole arc of Vader and trying to go behind the Emperor's back, which was intended to be sort of part of the original story, where Vader's scheming to get rid of him and the Emperor's scheming to get rid of Vader, and it's kind of like they are trying to kill each other. And
then convert Luke to either one of their sides.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. The comics are doing some interesting things.
Yeah. It's cool to see them fleshing out this stuff and having a bit of extra leeway to explain the story a bit better and stuff outside of the movies, which is really exciting.
And they're integrating Boba Fett into it, which is interesting because he wasn't in Star Wars, so...
We love the Fett.
We love the Fett. Love me some Fett.
Yeah, so that's all. Join us next time at Star Wars News and Views. Be sure to like and subscribe and check out our Facebook page. That's all. Thanks, guys.
That's all. There's nothing else.
That's all, folks.